On a day when a new face covering bylaw comes into effect across Toronto, the province is reporting a noticeable dip in the number of new coronavirus cases. 112 cases are being confirmed today. That's down from the 154 reported on Monday, and it's also the lowest number we've seen since June 26th. Meanwhile, 2 additional deaths are being recorded. That comes after the province reached a milestone, reporting 0 deaths yesterday for the first time since late March. Ontario's 5-day rolling average now sits at 138. A week ago, it was 172. Here's another key number to watch. Roughly 15,000 tests were processed, marking the second straight day that the province fell short of its daily target of 20,000. The total caseload has now passed the 36,000 mark. 87% of those are considered resolved. And as the numbers improve and more of the province reopens, the Ford government wants to transition away from the state of emergency that Ontario has been under since March. But with the crisis being far from over, they want to hang on to those emergency powers that allow them to make quick decisions. So today they unveiled unprecedented legislation that some critics say is a significant government overreach. Lifting the state of emergency would send an encouraging message to people living in Ontario that the province is on the right path, and the Ford government is looking forward to that day, but they're not ready yet to let go of their emergency powers.
If there's anyone in Ontario who wants to go back to a full shutdown, the ability to react and respond quickly is what we are bringing forward.
Today, they propose legislation to extend some pandemic emergency orders over the next year. If their bill passes, the government would have the power to move parts of the province back to earlier stages of the lockdown. It could also extend and amend certain existing orders, such as workplace rules, restrictions on gatherings and events, and closures of businesses. But the government would no longer have the ability to create new orders.
Received it today, as you did. We didn't get the heads up. We had no idea that it was coming. What people want and need in a time like this is more transparency, more accountability, not less. What the government's doing is handing itself a heck of a lot of power for up to 2 years, which, by the way, is right up against the next election.
We haven't abused that power at all. We've been transparent. I'm out here every single day. I'm dead against big government. I'm dead against the big brother nanny state telling you what to do. That's just not me.
Experts say emergency powers have a long and troubled history throughout the world, so it is understandable that there are concerns being raised.
I think that's going to be lurking in the back of a lot of legislators' minds. And people are going to want to take a very close look at the proposed legislation to see that it's correctly tailored and that it isn't being used as a way of avoiding scrutiny. And at the moment, I think everybody knows that we're still facing the pandemic, and so there will certainly be an appetite out there to allow the Ford government to hold on to some of these powers while this crisis lasts.
Ontario's state of emergency is set to expire July 15th, and the Premier's office said it would introduce a motion tomorrow to extend it until July 24th. The Premier and Health Minister were also asked about testing today. Since this is the second day in a row they've missed their target. They say this is what typically happens after the weekend, and moving forward, they will be ramping up to 50,000 tests a day. As we get into the fall and into flu season, testing volumes will need to increase as people will become more sick and they won't know if it's the flu or COVID-19.